Ascension.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Eric here with Ascension Living, and I'm so excited to bring you guys this recipe. I've been wanting to do it for a while because this is going to help a lot of people who want to transition into eating more raw living foods. And why would you do that? Because it helps the ascension of the brain and it helps everything just work better inside of your system. I have a lot of my clients actually eating this meal for lunch, especially people who are just coming off of like the standard American diet, because they want to have something that's satiating, they want to have something that's flavorful. Completely understand. So this is great for people who want to do that, who aren't able to just go into like a level 3 detox where it's like predominantly fruit. Interestingly enough, this is fruit, but it's fatty fruit because we're using the avocado. So this is my guacamole recipe, but it's not just any guacamole. This actually has a little twist on it that I've come up with myself, and I think it just tastes so amazing. This is addicting. I have friends that are on all types of different diets and my own family as well, and I've had them all try this, and it's like addicting. Like, it really tastes that good. Avocado in itself is a little addicting. So for people who are doing like the low fat raw vegan thing, a lot of times they try to avoid it at all costs because they can't just do like a piece of avocado. But for those who do want to just transition into eating more raw food, this is a great idea to incorporate. If you think about it, if you just do like a big bowl of fruit for breakfast, or let's say like a watermelon, and then you do like a young Thai coconut, that's a delicious breakfast. I love that one. I have that all the time. And then for lunch you could do something like this. Then all you really have to do is worry about dinner. And for dinner there's cauliflower rice, there's salads, there's gourmet raw. You could even do something else with an avocado, but it's really up to you. It depends on what you're ready for. People who really want to get in and start digging deeply, they'll avoid something like this, but this is, again, a great transitional food. Another reason why I love this guacamole is because it's a prebiotic food. Two of the foods slash herbs that I include in this recipe feed the good bacteria in your gut, and I've talked about this many times. You guys know how important gut bacteria is for me, because your main immune system is not only your lymphatic system but also your gut, and it's important to have those good little guys in there having a symbiotic healthy relationship with us so that we can also thrive. You want to eat things that feed the good guys. Now, I'm not going to walk you guys through the entire process. I'm not going to sit here and chop everything up and show it to you guys, but you will know how to make my famous, it's not famous yet, my famous guacamole that I love so much by the end of this video. I do my guacamole a little bit differently. A lot of people like to chop up the avocados first and like mash them a little bit and then add like the spices and the herbs at the end. I think that the better way to do it would be to do the herbs first and the things that you really want to marinate and taste good first in some lime juice and some sea salt, because when you add the avocado in, you don't have to let it sit. See, for whatever reason, a lot of recipes that you find online for guacamole, they say to mash the avocados first and then add the seasonings and then to let it sit. I rather just have the avocados go into something that's already seasoned and then it's just ready to eat because it tastes amazing. So the first thing that I always do, I take about 2 cloves of garlic. Depends on how much garlic you like. I know garlic is very controversial, especially for those who follow the Dr. Sebi diet, as I once did. If you don't like garlic, just don't use it. But I love garlic because it's a natural antibiotic, it's a natural antiviral. It's been used since ancient Egyptian times, and it has a lot of benefits, and it's a prebiotic food. It's a food that feeds the probiotics that are in your gut. Again, you want to feed the good guys. A lot of people do sauerkraut, they do kimchi, they do things like that. Fermented foods can be good for the gut, but those are for people that have done enough cleaning. If someone has candida or a lot of mucus, overgrowth in the stomach, I wouldn't suggest that they do something like kimchi or any fermented foods, because it's just going to cause more fermentation. Now, if you're clean, then you can get away with a little bit of kimchi or sauerkraut. But this won't necessarily cause fermentation. So we're just going to chop these 2 cloves up. Now, I don't have 2 cameras, so I'm not really showing you guys how it looks, but I like to do really, really thin slices when I'm cutting my garlic, just because I don't want to be chewing on like garlic chunks, but like tiny, tiny little squares. By the way, if you're here, I would appreciate you liking the video, commenting, subscribing. It helps me out, of course, but it also helps the YouTube algorithm, and it allows YouTube to know that you want to see more videos that have to do with health and with upliftment of the community, and with expansion of the brain and the mind, body, and soul trinity. So I would appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you can go ahead and click that subscribe button and press the notification bell so that you can be notified when I upload a new video, I would greatly appreciate that. Okay, so now that you have all of your minced garlic, you just want to go ahead and put that in a bowl, the bowl that you're going to be eating your guacamole out of, or that you're going to be mixing your guacamole in. Some people like to get a nice bowl after it's all mixed together and then put it in like a nicer bowl, because the sides get a little bit messy of the bowl. But I eat my stuff right out of the bowl that I'm mixing everything in, because it's less dishes to wash, and it's also, I don't want to wait. I just want to eat my food. Now, if I'm trying to impress people and I'm doing this for like a party, then of course I'm going to put it in a nice bowl, but this one will do. Now, as I said before, we want to get that garlic marinating right away. So I use the juice of about a whole lime. If it's not that juicy of a lime, then you can use 2 limes or 1.5. The lime itself is also very flavorful, and a lot of people don't know this, but you know, there's food combining, and you have to know that the foods that you're eating combine well, because then if they don't, they can cause fermentation in the gut, which causes fungus, which is the perfect breeding ground for things like parasites and viruses. But acids and fats actually combine really well together. As a matter of fact, they help the digestion period go a little bit smoother, because acid can kind of dilute the excess heaviness of fat, of like the fat of an avocado. Avocado is a fruit, but it's very fatty. It's like the fattiest fruit on earth. So anything that's going to help that digest better, I'm going to definitely include in my diet. So we got the garlic, we got the lime. I use about half a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. You can also use Celtic sea salt. I don't suggest any other salts other than those two. Some people do like kala namak, which is black salt or Indian salt. I found out that apparently the way they make that is they heat it up like at an extremely high temperature, and it's very high in sulfur. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to eat something that's not just alive in its most natural state. So after we get that sitting in there, that garlic, the lime, the sea salt, I like to mix it up. I'm using a knife. I'm not trying to be perfect here, guys. And now I'm going to add a slice of onion, a slice or two. Now onion is another one of those prebiotic foods. So with using onion and garlic, you're really feeding that good bacteria in your stomach. Now for people who are ever on like antibiotics for a really long time, you more than likely already have a lot of sulfur accumulation in your gut. I've talked about sulfur a bunch of times. You probably want to lay low on the garlic and the onion. For whenever I work with clients who have been on a lot of medication and a lot of antibiotics, I want to detox their gut before I start including things like onion and garlic. And now the only reason why I say that is because onion and garlic, it's natural sulfur. It's not sulfur from medication. But when you already have a lot of sulfur in your system, you shouldn't necessarily be adding more in any capacity. Now you're going to take that chopped onion, you're going to mix it in, you're going to put it in your guacamole bowl. I think I did a bit much, so I'm not going to use all of that. So again, guys, it was 2 garlic cloves, 1 slice of onion, 1 thin slice. This was a bit of a thicker slice, but it'll still taste great because I love onion. 1 lime, and half a teaspoon of sea salt. I'm telling you guys the amount that I'm using. You can obviously make it your own, but this is like the way that I perfected. I've done guacamole for a long time now, so I just want to show you guys, you know, exactly how I make it so yours can taste like mine does. And now I take a tomato. This one's already sliced from yesterday. Try to always use organic tomatoes. Tomatoes are on the dirty dozen list. They are sprayed heavily with pesticides and herbicides. I get reactions if I have a non-organic tomato now because my body is that clean that it tells me right away when I shouldn't be consuming something. So always try to get organic tomato. Onion and garlic, I would say everything should be organic, but those you would get away with a little bit better than a tomato. Tomatoes and grapes should both be organic. And so I like to cut these little slices, I have 2 of these, into like thin little cubes. Not super small, but not super thick either. Again, it's just 2 slices of that tomato. It sucks that you guys can't see it because I don't have a second camera yet. Maybe one day I will. But again, it's just basic little cubes. I like to keep them kind of thin. You can rush through this, but I think if you spend more time with your food, you love your food, you pray over your food, you think about your food and the nourishment that it's about to provide you with, it just feels so much better. And it really does help. People really don't think about spending time with their food and what they're putting in their systems. And that's something that's just like the norm for me now, you know. So anyways, those are 2 slices of those tomatoes, all chopped up. And so now we have the tomato marinating with the onion and the garlic and the sea salt and the lime juice. So that already is like mouth-watering. It's amazing. The next thing I want to add is the cilantro. Sometimes I do the cilantro before the tomato. You want to do kind of like a tablespoon or so of cilantro for this amount of guacamole. And now this is really important. You want to get the cilantro chopped into really small pieces. You don't want to eat, people don't want to eat like chunks of cilantro usually. So all of these things, except for the tomato can be a little bit chunky. You want to really try to like kind of mince, you know. Cilantro, you can check out my how to detox heavy metals blog post. Amazing chelating herb for heavy metals. And for those of us who live in polluted states. But not only that, for people who use like pollutants in their hair products and their skincare products. I can make another video about what I use for like soap and whatnot, because I only use, you know, natural things now. But okay, let's get to mincing the cilantro. Now you just take that, you put it in. Make sure your hands are clean when you're making this. Wash your hands, of course, before you start making food. But now we got that cilantro in there, marinating with all those other flavors. And that's why I love guacamole, especially this recipe. And you're going to see how I'm going to take it up even another notch next. But you have all these different flavors. You have that cilantro flavor, but then you have the onion and the garlic, the lime, the sea salt. It's like different flavors that just work synergistically together. They just work really well. And if you can handle a lot of cilantro, put extra cilantro in. You just don't want to overpower it, so I would say work your way up. But that's a very alkaline, healthy herb. And you want to take chelating things like cilantro and chlorella on a daily basis, because not only do they feed the good bacteria in your gut, again, that's very important, but they also, again, have very unique properties in helping people to detoxify heavy metals from their system. And now here's for the most exciting part, my secret. I like to use, so this is Kauai Pharmacy Curry Blend. I am not sponsored whatsoever. I would love to be, but I'm not yet. This is like an Indian curry, but not super Indian. It doesn't feel like overpowered. It doesn't feel like I'm eating Indian food, but it just adds such a kick to the guacamole. All the other stuff that we've already chopped up, you can 100% just use that. You can. But I think that if you can invest in this to get this. Another reason why I love this brand is because these herbs are raw. So you're getting the nutritional property of the curry leaf, of turmeric, of ginger. So you're getting more nutrition in, and you're getting more, you know, detoxifying effects to your system. Whereas if you buy herbs from anywhere, from whatever supermarket you live by, all those herbs on the shelf, unless you're getting the raw herbs from the produce section, are dead. You know, they might be full of flavor, they might be flavorful, but they don't have healing properties, so to speak. Most of them don't, because they dehydrate and heat those herbs up at such a high temperature. Once you go past 117, 18 degrees, you start to really kill off all the enzymes. These, they dehydrate under 118 degrees and they blend them up. So you're getting like that potent flavor. You don't even need to use that much of this with the nutritional properties. So I just feel good about taking this. This is literally like a fully raw meal. So this, I don't really ever measure. I just kind of, what is that? Maybe that's a little less than half a teaspoon. I can't really show you guys this, but then I just pour it in there with all those other flavors that are already marinating, which is amazing. Again, if you don't have this, you can still do this guacamole without the curry blend, but it's just a great kick. And now I'm just mixing all those flavors up with the curry powder. It smells so amazing and fresh. There's all those flavors. You got the onion, you got the garlic, you got the cilantro, you got a curry thing, you got a tomato, you got the lime, you got the sea salt. And now that that's all together, now we add the avocado, because those flavors are marinating, so they're going to instantly go into that avocado and it's going to be ready. If you would have added the avocado first and then did all this stuff, it would have been a slower marinating process. But I don't know about you guys, but when I have my guacamole in front of me, I want to eat it. I don't want to wait 15 minutes for everything to marinate. So I'm using 2 avocados for this. You could even use like 2.5. It depends on how big they are. I might use another half actually. So just cut that avocado. Perfect avocado, small seed, and a lot of meat or flesh, whatever you want to call it. Alright, we're almost done, guys, almost done. Another tip to make this taste even better, you can tell I've been doing this for a while. If you want to make this whole guacamole thing taste even better, there is nothing like cold guacamole. So if you have ripe avocados and you're not letting them sit out to ripen, put it in the fridge with all the other ingredients. It just tastes so good cold. It tastes good either way, but that definitely takes it up a notch. And again, you guys can have this for lunch every day if you're transitioning, you know. If you're really trying to get in there and detox tumors and viruses and cancer, maybe you want to slow down on this recipe. I mean, the garlic is antiviral, it's a natural antibiotic, but you don't want to overdo it, because when something has a lot of fat in it, it does slow down the detoxification process. But if you're eating raw living foods, you're doing your body good either way. So again, this is just a great transitional food. I'd rather somebody have this than have rice and beans. Yeah, this is high in fat, but it's raw, you know, so it's still good for you. And now you're going to take the back of your fork or an avocado masher, which I don't have yet. I don't want to invest in it because I'm like, forks are fine. I don't want to waste money. And you're just mashing the avocado. I like to mash it to the side of the bowl until it's like chunky but mashed. And then I just kind of blend it in with that curry, delicious spice along with all the other amazing flavors. I don't like my avocado to be like a smoothie. Like, I don't want it to be pureed. I want to have some chunks of avocado in there. So if that's a preference thing, some people like to have like liquidy, smoothie consistency avocado. I mean, guacamole, but I like mine a little bit more chunky. It's up to you. I don't like it super chunky, but I want to feel like I'm tasting the avocado flavor too. Because avocados have a unique flavor. So does garlic, so does onion, so does the curry blend. And guys, this to me is a meal. This is a meal. This is an entire meal. I know a lot of people feel like this isn't enough. But to me it's enough. You get used to it and it tastes amazing. Another thing you can do is you can take some lettuce leaves. Maybe I'll post a picture over here. But another thing you can do is you can take some lettuce leaves and you just scoop this up with a spoon on the lettuce leaves and kind of eat it like a taco. I've done that before. But as I've continued to grow in my living food journey, I'm fine with eating simple food. So I noticed that the more simpler I eat, the more better I feel, and the better the digestion. And so yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it. I kind of showed it before, but you can see those chunky pieces of tomato. You can see that onion. You can see that garlic, and you can smell all these flavors coming together. So let's do the taste test, guys. It is so good. I'm gonna have to end the video because if I don't, my mouth is gonna start watering. Thank you guys for being here. Please like this video, comment, subscribe, press the notification bell when you do subscribe so that you can be notified when I upload a new video. Check me out on Instagram, follow me there. Thank you guys for all the love that you've been showing. I have been getting a lot of emails and messages as well as clients, and it just feels good helping people. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And I hope you try this recipe. If you do, let me know. Take a picture, DM it to me, and I'll post you. Alright guys, peace, love, and blessings.